A lot of people don't know this, and even the bankers themselves don't know this, but when you're buying a property, you can actually use a security guarantor against a term deposit. Now, I actually did this for a client last week, and the loan was formally approved, and he was ecstatic because he couldn't believe that it's possible. Even his dad couldn't believe it, but it worked, and I'm here to break it down for you. Now, just a disclaimer for that person who also found me on TikTok, this is not disclosing any of your information. This is just about the concept of using a term deposit for the security guarantee. So rest assured. Jumping to my drawing board, let's break down the security guarantor basics. So what happens is you found a property, it's worth say $1 million, and your combined power with your spouse in terms of borrowing power is okay. You can actually borrow the whole thing. But the thing is, the bank won't lend you 100% of the loan. Of course not. You've got to come up with a deposit. But you don't have cash. You probably have about 5 to maybe 10K in your bank account. And that's not even going to cover bloody stamp duty on this. And say you're in Sydney or New South Wales, if you purchase anything over 800K, you got to pay stamp duty. For a $1 million purchase, the total cost, including stamp duty, is $1,050,000. So at this point, you might be saying, hey, we don't have enough cash. Let's come back 1 or 2 years later and get back to the property market, which unfortunately, when you come back to the property market to buy the same type of property, you probably went up to $1.2 million, which is sad. So then you spoke to a mortgage broker on TikTok and go, hey, you can actually use a security guarantor. So what happens now with the security guarantor, you do have enough cash, which is secured against your parents' property. For example, the $250K to bridge the gap between $800K, which you can borrow from this property to avoid mortgage insurance, and the difference of $250K to make this final purchase of $1,050,000. What a lot of people don't know is, what if your parents don't have a property? Well, do they have a term deposit sitting with that $250K cash? And what that looks like is there's a certain bank which allows you to borrow 80%, which is $800K, against the initial property. And of course, the final purchase price is $1,050,000 because you got to include stamp duty, and the bank doesn't give you 100% lending. Well, you can get that on the term deposit. So say your parents had a term deposit sitting in the bank account for around $300K, and it has about maybe 3 to 5 years, doesn't matter. We can use that as a security to borrow the $250K difference to make this purchase happen. In terms of repayments, in terms of the $1,050,000 to complete the purchase of this $1 million purchase, including stamp duty, which can then also be broken down into 2 loan splits if the client wanted, which is loan number 1, $800K, and loan number 2, $250K. But to be simple, $1,050,000 at 6.19%, which I got the client at principal interest rate with an offset account, is $6,424.11 per month. Now, for example, if you spoke to a non-holistic broker or a banker that didn't know their stuff and go, hey, you don't have enough cash, sorry, see you later. Well, you just lost out on buying this $1 million property in 2023. And just to let you guys know, you can do this on owner-occupied property and investment property. Jump in the comments and let me know what you think.